The Sex Ed with Tim podcast is recorded on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands.
You're listening to Sex Ed with Tim.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sex Ed with Tim podcast. I am your host, Tim. I am a sex educator. I identify as chaotically gay. And what do a boyfriend and a New Year's resolution have in common? They're both too much work, and I cheat on them after 2 weeks.
That's a really good way to start off 2022. I like that mentality. It's good.
I mean, you know what? It's a new year, new me. No, new me. I'm still the same old slut.
Just a new year. Yeah.
It's just a new year. The holidays haven't done anything to me.
No, they never do.
Yeah, and this new year is not going to do anything at all. Also, like, my birthday's coming up in a few days. So, like, you know, hey, I know, almost 30, flirty, and barely thriving.
Hey, 30 is peak. I have a few years to go before I'm hitting the big 30, but I'm looking forward to it, kind of.
True. That's when I can start worrying about the big things like prostate cancer, or like when I start to get called daddy a lot.
I mean, I guess if that's not your thing, it's a concern. But if that is your thing, like, hey, you're that much closer.
Oh my God. Did I tell you this one time? I was sleeping with a guy and he was like 2 years younger than me and he called me daddy. And I was like, wait, hold on. You're what?
What dynamic are you trying to put into play here?
I fully felt a gray pubic hair grow when he said daddy. I was like, shit.
Okay, really? So not your thing. Not yet, at least.
Not yet. I mean, you know what?
Get older, find a younger man.
There needs to be like a larger age gap in order for a younger guy to call me daddy. Like, he needs to at least, I don't know, like have algebra homework. In order for me. Okay, that's a little. Wait, hold on. No.
No, but that's good though. That's a New Year's resolution, right? Like, find a younger man.
Find a younger man. But honestly, I'm like way into older men more.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
I want him old, that like they're geriatric and they're almost dying, so that they write me in the will.
I was gonna say.
That like before, you know, he comes and he passes away from my amazing asshole, he just writes me in the will. I take his whole inheritance, and like that's my long con.
Also, like, then you're giving someone death by ass, which is the way to go. Oh yeah, and honestly, like that's a life's wish right there.
I mean, you literally come and go, right?
That's how I used to be back in my casual sex days, but now I'm tied down, so it's come and snuggle.
Must be nice.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Good. I totally forgot to introduce you to the listeners.
Oh yeah, hey guys, I'm here too.
We're just here.
It's Tim and his imaginary friend.
It was just always in my mind. I'm always talking to myself. Listeners, that very beautiful voice that you hear on the other end of the mic is the host of the Sexistentialist Podcast, M. Hey, M, how you doing?
Hello, folks. Happy to be here.
All right, M. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who is M?
Oh, that's such a good question. Who is M? I am 25. I'm pansexual, but I'm in a like long-term relationship with a dude currently. Dick did win in the end. Tim, I know you know a little bit about that. And yeah, you know, I love talking about sex, love having sex, love educating people about sex. I'm in kind of the process of becoming a sex educator. Actually, by the time this is released, I will be actually by the time this is released. So yeah, you know, it's a fun life living out here, and I'm excited to get to chat with you.
Oh my God, fucking. I know. Yes, I love about fucking, which is like what your show is all about, because like it's just like stories. It's total chaos, and I'm like all for chaos.
I know, I love it.
I know. Speaking of chaos, yeah, like the most chaotic thing in my life is my sex life.
Yes. I like it's good. I'm trying to like as a like now stable and monogamous person, I'm creating chaos in my sex life in other ways, which is like a whole new fun adventure. But I also love that you identify as chaotically homosexual because that rings true, I think, for a lot of people.
It should be like that should be like a Dungeons and Dragons alignment. Truly.
I play D&D, so I really respect that you
Okay,
just said that.
you need to teach me how to play D&D because like if I were to ever get into D&D, I just like roll my D20 and be like, take off clothes, raise ass in air, and then the quest would never go anywhere. I don't
No,
know.
I have played a seductive character in tabletop games before, and boy, howdy, is it fun, but it really does annoy everyone else present.
What's your seductive character like?
Um, super high charisma, loves to persuade people. So it's always like I find the hottest person in the room and I try to seduce them for information. But a lot of the time, the dungeon master will make me pay for that because they're tired of my bullshit, which is fair. But actually, recently I've been dungeon mastering, so I'm in charge. And I've been calling or having people call me Dungeon Mommy, which is really fun for me.
Dungeon Mommy's kind of cute. That can be like your
Right?
dom name. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a dominant person in bed. I'll just go ahead and say that. But if I were, I would have at it
You
with
can
that name.
totally like use that as like a sex worker name or something like Dungeon
It's
Mom
true.
or like
That's true.
Mistress Dungeoness or something like that.
Maybe I
Something.
should have made a sex nerd podcast and named it that
Yeah.
instead of Sexistentialist, but oh well.
No,
Too
you
late
know
now.
what? It's already on brand. Like the headphones with the tits on it. I'm like,
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm like, I'm here for it. Like
I appreciate
I
that.
love board games. I feel like when you see other people play tabletop games, it's such an
Mhm.
erotic feeling for me
Yeah.
because it's like you really get into the spirit of the game without like your phones or like the distraction of like
Yeah.
technology or anything. I once played a board game with a bunch of other gay guys and like we were playing footsie. I was playing footsie
Ooh.
with the guy across and then he asked to use the bathroom and then from the bathroom he texted me. I'm like, yes,
Oh, naughty. I
yeah,
like that. Board games is foreplay.
yeah, like plus 20 boner points.
That's good. He
I
used
mean,
footsie and it was super effective. That's a Pokemon
it's
reference
a
for those
Pokemon.
of you out here who didn't get it.
Hey, you know what? Can you do Pokemon in Dungeons and Dragons?
Um, not that I know of, but I'm sure someone could figure out a way to combine them.
I mean, you know what? I feel like with Dungeons and Dragons, like anything is possible.
Yeah, that's true. Infinite possibilities.
Like you can totally make like I don't know a Burning Man orgy dome Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
But
god.
then you are like I think mapping out an orgy though, like live action real life orgy. If you're gonna role play an orgy, it's really hard not to just fuck, I feel like. I mean, maybe that's me.
Because like the dungeon master is gonna have to be very descriptive about what
Mhm.
it is that you all do in this mythical orgy and like okay, let's role play something right now. If I were
Okay,
to
okay.
say, I don't know, we're in somewhere in the deserts of Nevada,
Mhm.
and there's Burning Man happening,
Mhm.
and I don't know, set the scene for us. What would that be like as a dungeon master?
Okay. Um pardon me. I'm just gonna get a little ready. You look up to the ceiling of your teepee. You feel colors and the vibrance of the space around you start to cover your skin. The hairs on your arms begin to raise. And then suddenly, you feel the desperate urge to emerge from the teepee and join the crowds of people dancing and roaming, naked bodies sweating as they collide. Soon, you stop feeling like an individual and become one with the rest of the Burning Man populace. I don't know. It gets raunchy from there, but that
Oh
was
my
just a
god.
little
No,
riff.
that was great. Like, oh my god, you are a natural born storyteller.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
It was like my heart's racing because it's like, oh, I gotta think of the next descriptive word, but you know.
Okay, so like say I don't know, I roll a 14 or something. Would you ask me like what I do? Because I had no idea how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. So you could roll a 14, but it depends on like what you were doing. So maybe if you were exiting your teepee and like going towards someone, then
Oh,
maybe I
okay.
would be like that, like give me a perception check, and you roll a 14 and be like, you see that there's a man across the crowd who's making eyes at you,
His
and
name is
then
Chris Evans.
his name is Chris Evans, and you recently saw a picture of his dick online. But anyway, and then
Yes.
he's
Oh my
holding a
God.
shield and nothing else.
I'm like, I know what's behind that shield.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
just, yeah.
Wild. Or that, or
Love
like
it.
maybe Orlando Bloom on a surfboard or something. Because
Oh
that
my
would be something
God.
you would see in Burning Man. Do you remember that time when the nude came? It was like Orlando Bloom
Oh,
and Katy
yeah.
Perry. Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
mhm.
I keep forgetting they're still together. I feel like in lockdown, I lost track of a lot of celeb relationships, but I'm trying to like get back with it.
Just like ET all night and like
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
oh my
Just
God. I mean,
learning.
lockdown has truly changed our sex drives, our perception of sex. And like, what is it? Like, it's the year 2022. It is what, at least 2 years since the whole
Yeah.
global panorama happened.
Yeah, it's been a long fucking time.
Mm.
You know, lots of highs and lows, mostly lows, but
Right.
you know, as content creators, we're just like having fun and being at it and doing what we can.
Oh my God, I know. And like, just like, I never would have imagined any time in our life that we would be living through a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, what? How many
No,
people
it's
can say
nuts.
that? Yeah.
It's nuts. Like whenever I like still wear a mask on like throughout different parts of my day and on my commute and stuff, it's it's just nuts to be like, yeah, I wear a mask and this is part of my life now. And like we just
I
accept it.
I will confess that the mask thing has really driven up my choking kink. Um,
Ooh, interesting.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the escort that I hire, I asked him to choke me.
Mhm.
And he knew right away what I wanted. I was like,
Yes.
"Damn, boy,
Mhm,
yes." Yeah,
nice.
I think there's just, like, something erotic about, like, imagining what a person's lips looks like behind the mask,
Mm.
and then, like, when they take it off, I'm like, "Yes, they're hot," or I'll be like, "Ah, fuck, they're so
Yeah.
ugh,
No,
fix your teeth."
that's so fair. No, I know there's so many things about people's faces that like I have come to like visualize that I used to not before. And it is really jarring when someone takes off a mask because you're like, oh shit, like that's your chin. I didn't fucking know that's what your chin was gonna look like, but boy, howdy, there it is.
I know, and, like, you have this, like, you this vision of them in your head of, like, what are they gonna look like when they take it
Mhm.
off? Because, like, you can see a person's eyes and then, like, sure, okay, but the moment you see the rest of their face and it's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hello,
It's
future
make or
father of
break.
my children. Hi."
I also have found that, and I don't know if you've encountered this, but because everyone's wearing masks, that I oftentimes think I am like walking past in public like someone I hooked up with previously,
Oh my god.
or like
Totally
someone that
relatable.
my partner has hooked up with or something who I've seen her
Fully,
face on Instagram.
fully agree.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
it's
Like,
terrifying.
in the before times, I
Mhm.
would always, always, always be recognized by different guys on the subway, in the park, when I'm walking, and I'm just like, "You need to tell me how I know you. Did I fuck you? Did you fuck me?" And it's
Yeah,
just like, okay, I don't wanna sound like I'm bragging or anything, but it's because I've had sex with a lot of guys.
sure.
And because of that, I can't keep track of every single person I've ever had sex with.
And you shouldn't
It's
have to.
and I shouldn't have to. I mean, like, I'm close to the 4 digits, but, no.
Oh my god. Wait.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Productive
It's been a very productive, lifetime for
life.
me.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
So, like, knowing the amount of guys I've had sex with, I'm bound to, like, make an impact on someone's
Sure.
sex life, and they expect me to remember that. I'm like, "Sweetie, I'm sorry. I mean, thank you
Yeah.
for thinking of me, but, like,
Yeah.
I'm not ready to put a
Bye.
ring on it or anything, unless it's a cock ring, then sure, but, like."
Well, yeah, no, it's like, wow, thank you for letting me be a part of your beautiful journey. And now, goodbye.
Yeah! Let go. Just
I'm so glad that I did a nice sexual thing for you. But I gotta go.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Peace out. Are you by any chance like an air sign?
I'm an Aquarius, if
I
that
am
answers
too.
your question. I
I
was going to ask when you said your birthday was in a few days. I was about to be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm an Aquarius. So my birthday's January 25. So if
Okay,
anyone's
nice.
listening out there, you can totally buy me a present, or
Mhm.
like you can subscribe on my Patreon. That would be the best present
Yes.
ever. Leave a review on wherever it is that you listen to the podcast. Um, yeah, I'm an Aquarius with like a Pisces moon and a Pisces rising. So like
Pisces.
yeah, I know. Can you believe?
Yeah.
Like I can come off as like cold and aloof, but like
Mhm.
because of my Pisces rising, I can be like caring and like, come here, let me listen to your problems.
Yeah, no, I have a Cap rising and a Scorpio moon, and my Scorpio moon just really fucks me. But
I
but
mean,
it's fun.
we all want to be fucked by a Scorpio moon, you know.
It's true.
Uh,
It's
it's
true.
it's always
I
the
wish
most emotionally distant ones that have like the best sex.
yeah, I will say like I've had historically well, I will say like my partner um who I'm engaged to because I didn't believe in marriage until I fucked this man and
Oh,
now
marriage is
we're
totally
getting
fake.
married.
Marriage is
I
totally
know.
fake.
I know,
It's
but
imaginary. It's
yeah,
weird.
it is fake. But I'm doing it. I am one
Yeah.
of those people who got
Oh.
converted, but he's a Virgo. So
Oh, so he's a very meticulous and thorough individual. So he knows how to go down and eat every last bit of your junk.
the man loves to eat whatever he can, and it's a
Oh,
goddamn gift.
we love men with appetites. Oh my
It's so
God.
true.
I love
So
that.
true.
I mean, if you need anyone to officiate your marriage, I am technically an ordained minister. So, like,
Oh,
fly me over there.
damn.
I
I
will
mean,
officiate.
we'll give you a call.
All you need to do is pay me in men.
I mean, I can supply. I can always supply.
Yes, like, hey, like the escort that you hire for the ordained minister, it just happens to be in the church pew or something, and then we're like locking
Ooh.
eyes, being cute and everything. Oh my God, I don't think I've ever told this story a lot, but this one time I was in church because my parents were renewing their vows. So I'm like, oh, it's very cute and everything. But it just so happens that the person officiating the renewal of the vows was an ex.
Fuck no.
Yeah,
Did your
yeah.
parents know that?
No, so we were
Oh
like, so
no.
the I don't know what you call it, priest or priest in training, or I don't know whatever it is that you call it. So he and I were locking eyes, and I was like at the very back of the church, and then we're like, shit, 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 shit. What do I do? What do I do? Yeah, and like it was
Worst
weird.
nightmare.
Yeah, because it's like back then he was like totally slutty and doing all the shit. And now jump forward a few years later to see him do this.
Hmm. I mean, it's crazy what yeah, whenever I see my exes do on social media or like what they look like now, even, it's always like, whoa. Um, but like, hey, I guess whatever floats their boat.
I know, right? Have you had any like awkward bad sex stories or just like sex stories that you want to share and laugh at from your sexual past?
Oh yeah, I mean countless. I mean, so I will say, and if you've listened to my podcast, you have probably heard me joke about this, but I am a bit of a serial monogamist, just because like I, as a child, like totally bought into this like media produced concept of love, which oftentimes meant that I was like spending 3 years in relationships with like the worst people, starting at like a fairly young age. So a lot of my bad sex is with people who should have been good at having sex with me because they'd been doing it for so long. Um, but I, not recently, I guess, but I did have like one sexual encounter while I was in an open relationship. So I
Mhm.
was in a relationship with a man, and he and I like kind of had this like, I don't want to say unicorn because I hate like straight couples who are on Tinder like looking for you know what I mean? I do hate that. But like
Same.
like he was queer, I'm queer, she was queer. It was like a nice big friendly consensual queerness and like whatever. But she was really into me at a certain point, and at a certain point you can like tell, but she was the worst sexter. She was
Oh.
she was like I mean she's a great person. If she ever happened to hear this, like you're a great person. She was like very bad at head, which was like kind of a bummer, but like sometimes people just are and that's okay. But she was a really bad sexter. And
Ooh.
I remember like live texting my best friend at the time about this because I was like this text is like so, and she would be like, I really liked eating your vagina. And I'd be like, first of all, ew. And also, second of all, bitch, no, you didn't. Because if you did love it, I would have fucking known. And I definitely did not feel that love from your mouth. So that was good. And I saw her on the street once. Again, this happens to me too often. This was pre-mask times too, so I couldn't hide. And she was like, I'd love to get drinks. And I was like, honestly, and I was ending the relationship that I'd been in. And I was like, honestly, my life is super messy right now. And I don't want to get drinks. Like, I think you're great, but I just can't. Like, I'm not in an emotional place to do it. And then she tried to sex me that night. Ooh. She's trying to send me winky faces. So I was like, you're not good at this, one.
I would love to eat more of your vagina.
Yeah, dear God. I mean,
it's just so weird when like you're sexing and then you use not slang. Like, yes. I would love to perform fellatio on you, and it's just like what?
Okay. Yeah. Well, when I first started kind of like having a thing with my now future spouse, he's British, and I'm American.
Tea and crumpets, governor.
Literally, he fucking loves crumpets. He does.
He's the living stereotype of every single Englishman out there. Then
totally.
War in it.
Yeah, no, it really is. He's really like, I'm Hank Marvin. I can't even do a British accent, but like he'll use the Cockney like rhyming things, and he's saying words, but I don't understand them. I still have to translate them to other people as well. But
it's a different language. English is a different language.
It is. But I remember like this time when we were sexting early on, and I was like, okay, so he uses centimeters. Right? He uses centimeters. So
and in the States it's like imperial.
It's strictly inches. Like I couldn't tell you how much millimeters or centimeters are. Like I learned it in school. Like I don't know, right? Like, and so I'm like wanting to talk about his dick size while we're texting, and like wanted to say something like, like I want to lick every inch of your cock or something like hot. Mm-hmm. And I put centimeters instead of inches.
Be considerate. It's culture in England.
It's like not like I'm sure he looked at that and stopped stroking it. He was probably immediately like, what the fuck is she doing? So I referenced that.
Every cm of your cock.
Yeah, like every like how many, like 800 centimeters, like centimeters are tiny.
800 centimeters.
I don't know how many inches that is.
800 centimeters is
80 inches.
Meters.
Oh,
800 centimeters is.
He's not that big.
I am.
Yeah, definitely can confirm. It's out right now.
Yeah, it's out right now. It's like slung over my shoulder. It's really heavy. It's almost medically like a problem.
Medically a problem, but still hot though. Still hot.
Still hot. I know. It's like it's hentai style.
Ooh,
it's large.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When I first watched hentai, I was like, I don't really understand what's going on because it seems so what's the word for it? Like over dramatic and very like austere. And I was just like, this is really like kind of hot, but also I'm really confused as to why I like seeing a tentacle go inside a man's butt.
It's it's one of the porn categories that gives, I think probably all of us, the biggest pause in the post nut clarity phase. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like you're done, then you kind of like look at the video you were watching, and you're like, man, that's content that I chose and climaxed to, but we won't tell anyone about that, I guess.
I think what's that YouTube comment? It's like, not my most shameful nut, but
but it's up there.
But it's definitely up there. Oh my God. I mean, have you ever watched a porn besides hentai that like has made you question your sexual choices?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went through this phase. It's not really a phase, but I was very into like online sex for a while, and it's actually like I was like meeting people and talking to people through Reddit and on Kick. So I was doing it in a very safe and anonymous way, but it was like kind of like a fucking thing for me for like a year and a half. And I would watch porn that would like coincide with some of the fantasies I was creating with these like online anonymous men. And there was this dude who was quite a bit older. And so I was
Mm.
like desperate to find like old young porn that was like not an ancient man. And there was one like FAP situation I was in where I was like scrolling and I kind of just like settled on an old, young, like older dude, young woman
Uh-huh.
porn. And then after I remember being like, that video was a bit predatory or a bit creepy, but then
Hmm.
it was like, but I was just really trying to fulfill this fantasy. So that was one. But I also feel like anytime a woman is like screeching and it's like clearly a fake orgasm, then like in the moment I'm like, damn, she's getting it. And then after the fact, it's like that shit was fake. And I'm
Fake AF.
embarrassed that I was into it. But I mean,
But
I don't know.
I mean, maybe that's something that we have to unpack of like sexual shame, or like, I don't know, embrace it. Like, what
Yeah.
turns you on, whatever. It,
Yeah, and it's like just I mean, right now I'm trying to like be mindful about like ethical consumption of porn, which is not
mm,
something I always thought about.
mm.
And so
Pay for your porn, people. Pay for
yes,
it.
pay for it. But no, I think like it's so easy when you're on like Pornhub or X videos or RedTube or whatever the fuck they're all called.
Whatever. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
just scrolling and tapping on thumbnails. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all
Hmm.
just visual stimuli, visual stimuli, visual stimuli. And you get into rabbit holes and you don't at a certain point really know what you're masturbating to. And
Ooh, yeah.
so I don't think there's shame in that because I think that's for a long time the only option we felt like we all had.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it is important to be mindful while fapping, you know?
A mindful fap,
A
an
mindful fap.
an ethical fap, a very
Exactly.
a conscious nut.
Yeah, a conscious nut. That's good.
Yeah,
We should get that on a shirt.
a conscious nut. Just someone in an asylum, just like very aware of the world, like, oh, what
A
is this
conscious
feeling?
nut.
Nut, get
Yeah,
it?
literally.
Or like a literal nut that's just like, I'm a nut.
That's good. I like that actually. The idea of an acorn with eyes is really wetting
There
my
you go.
whistle.
See, I mean, this is the branding right here. We're carrying this into 2022. The creativity,
Exactly.
the juices are flowing. Oh my god.
Flowing. So funny.
Have you ever like participated? Not participated. What's that? What am I trying to say? Audio porn.
Kind of. I've never done like ASMR. But I
Oh
have
yeah, people fap to ASMR.
yeah, and I have gone down like a sex ASMR like rabbit hole. It's not for me. I am very like auditorily stimulated, so I need sounds in porn to be good. But ASMR is not really my shtick, but have known I have had a partner of sorts, also online. I did a lot of weird stuff, mostly for people online, to be honest. I mean, I'm kinky in my own life, but like the stuff that I normally don't do, I was doing at the time.
Hmm.
And he was very into jerk off instructions. And
Oh,
so I did like kind of listen to quite a bit of that and then tried to recreate it. It's funny because I find like in my mind, like JOI is so subjective, like telling someone how to masturbate. And
true.
I think I got self-conscious doing that simply because I know that like when I masturbate, it's like it's particular. I think like
It's such
everyone
a wholesome and very individual experience, right?
yeah, and I think everyone who's been masturbating since they were like a young teenager, right? Like there's a certain way that you like to get off when you're by yourself,
Yep.
and it can be disruptive to be told to do it differently.
I know.
So,
It's like, stop telling me what to do, mom.
yeah, it's like, well, actually, like I prefer to touch my clit this way, or prefer to hold my shaft
Right.
this way, or prefer to not touch that at all. I like to go this direction. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
and so I was like, damn, like I know that he's probably like easy to please, this man, but I felt weird trying to do that. But I think it's hot. Like the
Oh
idea
yeah.
of it's super hot.
Oh yeah, my favorite way to masturbate for me is I lie down on my side and
Mhm.
then my arm starts to numb so that it feels like a different person and then I jack off. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, is this really how I like to masturbate or am I just lonely right now?
Little column A, little column B,
A
you
little
know?
column A, a little column B, you know? I'm just
It can
like
be both. It
a
can be
very
both.
sad fap, you know? Just like
I love a sad fap though.
a sad,
Like,
oh yeah.
not
Like,
always, but
mm,
just when you need it, you know, sometimes it can be
yeah.
really nice.
You can put on the entire Born to Die by Lana Del Rey and then just like have a little bit of weed and touch yourself in the Sunday afternoon sun, you know.
That
Very
was
French noir.
beautiful.
It's a very French
Yeah.
noir, like, and then you have to put like a black and white filter on it, you know.
So
It'll
you're filming it as well.
right? And then it has like I don't know, voulez-vous coucher avec moi? And then, you know, something
Mm.
like that.
Yeah. No, I like it saucy.
It's such a romantic way to just masturbate, but also like sad and also like artistic. It's probably like a commentary on communism or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like it. Performance art.
Porn with a message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Story has narrative. I like that.
I recently discovered that there is an actual porn all about Marxism. If you do a quick Google search on this, it's called, I believe it's called The Revolution is My Boyfriend or something like that. Yeah, it's a full on porno, like a movie with like basically the what is it? Karl Marx's thing, his works. It's all there. The revolution is my boyfriend, and it just like throws in some Marxist theory while there's a couple having sex in an elevator, and then there's like another old couple that walks in, and they're just like shocked, like, huh?
I
What? I
love
know,
that. What a
I know.
choice to make. I'm gonna look it up later.
Yeah,
I
the revolution
promise.
is my boyfriend, or rather, the Raspberry Reich, titled "The Revolution Is My Boyfriend." Yeah, it's 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 quite a watch. Yeah, so sex in media, it's a beautiful thing. Oh, speaking of media, there's been a whole shit ton of sex on fucking
Yeah.
Netflix right now.
I don't know when we started being so cool about sex and TV, but they sure are trying.
I know they're trying. I mean, it's an effort. It's definitely an
Yeah,
effort.
yeah. Hit and miss.
Hit and miss. Like, have you seen 365 Days?
I am sorry to say that I have. Um,
Thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts.
I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that I was aroused through part of it, which
Okay,
like,
same.
do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you're watching movies and people are fucking, you're like, this is really bad. And you're like, but my body is kind of into it.
I know. Oh my god, because like that guy is really hot. Like
Yeah.
I would love if I had a gangster boyfriend so that Uncle Carmine from
Mhm.
the Anatoly family can come to my defense whenever I get hate crime for being called a faggot or something.
Yeah.
Like
No, I mean that
hot,
fantasy is fucking fire.
right?
Um, yeah, and like there were parts of that where I was like, oh, he really cares about her. But it was also like,
It's full on abuse. It's definitely
yeah,
abuse.
yeah, it was like very Stockholm syndrome. And I just feel like watching that reminded me that super good sex does not forgive toxicity as much as we would like it to.
I mean, there was what 5 minutes of them having marathon sex on the boat, and I was like, um,
Yeah,
as hot as that is, I wish,
yeah,
I really wish,
yeah.
because like, okay, the whole flack with 365 days is like, if the listeners out there don't know what it is, it's this gangster, this Italian mafia dude, whatever, kidnaps this really beautiful woman and forces her to fall in love with him for 365 days. And spoiler alert, she does. Ooh, fun. And like, yeah, it's full on abuse. And like, it has been criticized for like glamorizing abuse and like abusive relationships and sexual violence. But like, okay, this is going to be where it can be a little divisive because for me, I'm able to compartmentalize it as purely a work of fiction and it is fantasy. And that kind of makes me like that kind of absolves me of when I masturbate to a beautiful hot Italian man, you know?
No, that's fair. And I do think that's important, right? Like I think media literacy is a big part of this and with porn too. Like if
Hmm.
you're aware of what you're consuming and the faults in it and you're not letting it warp your perception of yourself or your sexual relationship with others or your romantic relationship, then it's like fucking fine, honestly. Like you can laugh at it, you can fap to it. I don't care. But it's when people start to consume stuff like that and they're like, wait, like it's hot for me to like chain up my girlfriend and force her to watch me
Ooh,
fuck
yeah.
someone without her consent. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yikes, like that's really bad.
That's
Not
gross.
good.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
gross.
like
Yeah,
if you can
it's like
draw a mental line, it's like fine.
exactly right because like I'm able to recognize that this is a work of fiction, it albeit a really shitty one, but
Yeah.
like still kind of hot because
Yeah.
my god, that guy is super fucking sexy. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but
And she
he
is
really is.
too, truth be
She's
told.
so
She's like
hot.
really hot. Her boobs were
She's
great.
gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Like I and like as a gay man, I can appreciate a beautiful woman. And I was like, damn, this girl is gorgeous. And also like I believe that show or that movie kind of showed a little bit of his cock going inside of her on that boat scene, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm about to like drop trow and just like jack off to this
Just fucking do it. Yeah.
because like that's my fantasy. I would love if a beautiful, tall Italian gangster were to sweep me off my feet and make me his fuck toy for an
Yeah.
entire year. I would love that. I mean,
Yeah.
some people might not be into it, but like that's me. I want
Yeah.
to be someone's like,
No, yeah.
submissive. Ugh.
You'd be wholeheartedly consenting to that shit, so it would be fucking awesome. And you would
Yeah.
come back from Sicily or Croatia or wherever fucking cool place you were and be like, I got laid 8 times a day, bitches. And we'd be like, damn, we're
Damn.
jealous.
I know,
But
like
for her, I just was scared.
oh yeah, it was basically like 50 Shades meets Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Although he's not so much. I mean, he is a beast. Holy shit! Like
Yeah, that's true.
that scene in the bedroom where he was like forcing her to watch him get a blowjob.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's kind of hot.
Yeah, no,
So
I think like that's something that I would easily fap to.
oh hell
But
yeah.
if my partner did that, I would have a fucking panic attack. But
But
do you
like
know
in
what I
the
mean? Though it's the fantasy.
yeah, like under the right circumstances, you and
Yeah.
your partner could like totally like role play this scene
Yeah.
within the confines of your bedroom and still not like glamorize an abusive relationship or like sexual violence or whatever,
Totally.
and like
Yeah.
people can be a little like, but you know what? That's the beauty of role play and like sex
Yeah.
within the confines of your four walls. What stays there stays there. It's like a little tiny Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. Sex is about pushing boundaries, in my opinion, like in a safe and consenting way and in a communicative way. But like, why not explore every possible way that your body can provide you with pleasure?
That
Like,
part,
why not do
that
it?
part. It's the communication for me, honey.
Yeah, I want to talk it till we die and then fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of communication,
Yeah.
Sex Life.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
I started the first episode, and I promised to watch more, but I really struggled, and I know that that's kind of the consensus as well.
Yeah, it is a difficult watch. Well, okay, for me, first of all, it's a difficult watch because it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief that this is happening in New York because it's fully filmed here in Toronto. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god.
there's no way you can convince me that this is in the streets of New York. So stop
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
that's one. And the second one is like, it's hard for me to watch because the main character, Billy, is just so fucking annoying. I'm like,
Yeah.
Sarah Shahi, you are a beautiful actress, and so is everyone else on that show. You're all very gorgeous, but like, this character is just so toxic and like annoying, and it's hard for
Yeah.
me to root for her being the main character because it's like, just say your fucking needs. This is why
Yeah.
your husband believes that you're cheating, and then it's like, no, I'm not cheating, I'm just texting him, I'm just like,
Yeah.
consenting to his dick pic. It's not cheating. It's like, girl, fucking tell him.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, exactly. And I had a really hard time, like, again, this is early episode 1, so I don't know how the show ends, but
Neither do I.
when
It's hard to watch because
okay,
it's
good.
so annoying.
I'm glad I'm not alone. Yeah, but when she was like talking about all of her past sexcapades and hot boyfriends and stuff. And then she's like, well, why did I marry Cooper? Because he was nice and stable. And I was like, this is so frustrating to me because it is possible to be in a nice, stable relationship and have like raunchy sex.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's painting it out where like you can't, like you have to have like toxic partners in order to get fucking kinky. And like that's the opposite. You should be super kinky with people you can communicate with.
Yeah, like you can totally have a wild ass sex life and the house and the kid
Yes.
and like a husband that loves you and like a third leg for a penis. Like you can have
Exactly.
all of that, but she won't fucking say anything.
It's so
Like
stupid.
I know Cooper, like you deserve better. I know you're a
Yeah.
fictional character, but you deserve so much better than your shitty ass wife because she's annoying the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Have you seen that trend on TikTok where people are blind reacting to Sex Life episode 3, 19 minutes and 50 seconds?
Is it the shower scene, right? I haven't seen that many of it. I need to explore the trend. I haven't been on TikTok a ton recently, but yeah, no, I have seen a couple of those.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the episodes. I feel like maybe I should just go watch that one episode and see the scene in context.
So if you watch my TikTok, you'll get a pretty good sense is because like I literally choked on my water as I was watching it. Yeah, like I like choked and then my dog was just staring at me like, you okay? I'm like, fuck, I'm right here choking on water. No, but okay, so you can only watch it and believe what I say when you see it. But basically the scene is a shower. Cooper is watching the Aussie guy, I forget his name. He's watching him and then he turns around and sees like the biggest penis of his entire life. Like his penis is reaching his knee. And there's this whole thing going on about whether or not it's real or fake and I'm like, I highly doubt that it's real, but also I'm like not penis shaming or anything, but then again, it just seems way too like I don't
know.
so.
They did have to give Willem Dafoe a prosthetic penis for Antichrist because his dick was too big, and they had to give him a prosthetic that they thought was more believable. Yeah, because they were like, no one's gonna believe this dick is real. We have to give you a smaller one.
Hold on, you're saying Willem Dafoe as in the Green Goblin from?
Oh yeah, Daddy is hung.
He's Willem
Get
Dafoe. Hi, my name is Tim. I'm from Toronto. If you ever want to listen to this podcast and like hit me up, come on.
He's both hot and scary, but sometimes
I love
being kind of scared, is kind of hot, right? I don't know why.
I love like a hot, scary man, but like you have to be like hot and scary, not just hot or just scary, because then it's just like boring.
Yeah, gotta keep it spicy with some fear.
Yeah, like have a personality or something.
Yeah.
Like anyway, so back to that shower scene. I'm seriously on the side of fake, but according to some New Zealand newspapers and like quote unquote credible sources, which is really just Instagram DMs, people have been saying like it's real and like he's known in his college as doing the windmill. But I was like, I don't think so.
I mean, okay, but maybe I'll just Google the actor and like look at
Adam
photos
Demos?
of him.
Yeah,
is that who it is? Yeah, and then I'll just zoom in on his crotch and keep seeing if I can see his bulge.
I know.
Photos of him online.
That's literally what that's literally what I did with John Hamm, because like that's another handsome individual. But, I love gray sweatpants season. It's awesome.
Sweatpants, yeah.
The next hottest thing to seeing cock is to imagine cock. Like, don't show me. I just want to know it's there. Fair. Right? Like, I don't want to see it. I just want to know it's there. Like, I love the outline when like guys are at the gym. Oh my God. Or like when they're at the gym, they're wearing short shorts and like they're free balling it and they're using like those machines that force them to open up their legs like stirrups or something. And I'm like,
hello.
I know, I love it. Especially like gay gyms where everyone like is sexually charged and I'm just like,
it's good.
It's great. I love being gay. Oh my God, being gay is the best. I don't know how people how straight people live this life. It's weird.
Well, I mean,
It's
at least
2022.
you'll probably understand this, but I love dick. So
What's not to love?
I know. So I can't help it. I mean, I identify as a lady and I love penis, and here I am.
Me too. Like, that's literally me. I identify as a gorgeous woman and
Yes.
I love cock. But let it be known that, like, I like men, or no, I am attracted to men. I do not like men. Stay away from me.
That's fair. Men
Or trash. Fully trash.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Full stop.
Like, I don't even have, like, that's it. Always.
Yeah, and like literally all men, like gay men, straight men, non-binary, male, like penis owners, they can be a little like there's the toxic masculinity that people are, and like the whole toxic masculinity thing, it's not just on men, but like there are some women I've seen that have fallen victim to toxic masculinity. Like, you're a guy, you should know how to fuck me. I was like, what? What do you mean you should? What is this word should?
Toxic masculinity, internalized misogyny, everyone experiences it regardless of gender identity. It's just like how you work to like rinse it out of your system.
Hard agree. Yeah. Like, this is the poor sex education we're like subjected to. Oh my God. I'm on a roll right now. Sex education on Netflix.
Yes.
I'm just
what
like
a beautiful segue.
I'm segueing into everything right now. I'm just like, I'm totally in my podcast best right now. Okay. Sex education. What do you think of that?
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I love it. I will say that I think in season 2, it's what happens with Amy on the bus when,
oh my God,
I think that's one of the most realistic depictions of the aftermath of sexual assault. I think it's really hard for media to capture what being a victim, a survivor of that is like. And I think that they captured her processing and the support that she receives through that so beautifully that, I mean, I loved the show regardless of that. I think like all of the actors in that are super attractive, which is weird because I think a lot of them are actually like teenagers, and I'm hoping some of them are also in their 20s, but I don't know. I believe
they're all adults, but
okay, I don't know. So maybe if they're not, then I'm not attracted to the ones who are under 18. But I just think, I thought that was beautiful. I'm just a big fan overall.
Oh yeah, and like the queen herself, Gillian Anderson, portraying like this extremely sex positive, almost to the point of sex neutral, like parent, where she talks about sex so casually and in such a nonchalant, matter of fact way to her son. And I'm just like, if I ever have a kid, I want to be like Gillian Anderson and just like, so how was your orgasm today? Just like, I want that. That's so cute.
I love it. I will say my mom is a little bit like that. My mom is not a sex educator or researcher by any means, but my mom has lived a fucking life. She's done it all. And it is great, but it did mean that like as a kid, kind of like in the show, I like went to school and was like, well, everyone knows what this is, right? And it was like just me. And I had to like realize that I was like a little bit ahead of the curve on the sex education front.
So you were a little bit like Otis being like the sex quote unquote sex therapist of your school.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely didn't try to give advice at that age because I was having bad sexual encounters that were like I was like, like didn't know how to give head and was like asking. Well, actually, I was asking gay men who were older than me in high school. I was like, well, how do you give head? Because like clearly you guys are going to know better than I do. It's like, you have a dick and you love dick. Like, how do I do it?
How to suck cock. Google.
Honestly, yeah. But I was like teaching people the slang because my mom was using it. So I was comfortable being like, well, this is what a dildo is, and this is how it differs from a vibrator. And I was like trying to like get people up to the curve. But people don't like to talk about sex, I learned. makes people uncomfortable. It's so weird.
What do you think about that weird Netflix reality show, Too Hot to Handle and Love is Blind? Like, I think it's totally trash, but like
yeah, I mean, both absolute garbage. Like men. But I think like both fun. I think the idea of like depriving yourself of sex or intimacy is like a little troubling to me, but like in
Okay,
how to handle it.
can you like give me a rundown because I've never seen either one. I only
Oh
say
yeah,
it's
yeah.
trash because reality TV is so trashy.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So Love is Blind, basically people, it is what it sounds like. You sit in a room and you can't see people and you basically go like speed dating and you talk to people without being able to see them. And then over time you kind of narrow it down. And then,
Creepy.
yes, creepy. And then some people like fell in love and got engaged, or fell in love with air quotes, and got engaged like instantaneously, which um, I mean, like I know people, like I agree for long-term romantic relationships, like conversation and personality compatibility like can be really important and are really important. But like if you don't have sexual chemistry with someone, like I don't know how you can decide you want to spend your life with them. But like maybe that's just me. I know not everyone is like that, and I know like sexual compatibility or comfortability, like not having sex very often, like all those things are important. So like that's an inclusive statement, but I feel like in my mind, like you have to know what the physical boundaries are and if those align. So
Right, right. And also, I
yeah,
feel like that show does say something to how much physical attraction like factors into a relationship.
everyone who ended up with someone kind of at the end, there were like three couples. Like the couple we knew wasn't gonna last was like Jessica, I think was her name, and she was the one who like was the meme on Twitter because she fed wine to her dog, and which is like I love giving my cat treats and I love giving dogs love, but like don't give it wine, Jessica.
Alcohol,
So bad.
alcohol.
She was like the dog, not Jessica. But yeah, no, and then like the guy that she quote unquote picked was I think beautiful and he was so sweet and so kind to her. But she like I think actually was like he's not really my usual type. Like she kept saying that, and so it was like okay, well then it does matter what someone looks like. And she was obsessed with this other guy named Barnett who had picked another lady. And so Barnett and Amber, I think her name was, were like in a happy, well, not happy, a very toxic, but supposedly happy engagement. And like Jessica the whole time was like, remember Barnett when we like talked in the rooms and like you kind of liked me also, but then you picked Amber. And like it's very clear she doesn't want to be with, I think his name was Mark, the guy that she was with. It was just yikes. It was just so yikes. Physical stuff matters, like whatever that means for you.
Did you hear? Because, okay, from what I'm hearing from you right now, this sounds like a lot of drama, and I live for drama. But this kind of sounds like almost the exact opposite of this. What is it? I feel like it's American or English. I don't know what it is. Dating Naked.
Ah, is
Do you
it?
know it?
I there is a British show. I don't think it's called Dating Naked, but it's
But basically, the show that I saw was this woman would pick her boyfriend or potential partner based on their penis alone, and I'm like,
Naked Attraction.
that's the one.
That's it. I've seen Naked Attraction. Sorry, it was like killing me that I couldn't remember the name of it. Yeah, no, like a veil slowly lifts. Like first it's feet, and then it's like knees, and then it's dick, and it's like she's really eliminating people for their feet first of all, and then for their dick, and then for their upper body. It's like, and then eventually like they see each other's faces and each other's nude bodies before they go on a date. But it's like it is the opposite of that.
Which I'm like, as a gay man, that's heaven. Like, can I have all of it,
That's fair.
please? Why do I have to choose one?
Yeah, no, and that's the problem too. I mean, with any of these shows, right? You pick one, and if you made a mistake, like, oops, you made a mistake, and it's kind of like a fuck up to try to like retract it and pick someone else. It's super awkward. Whereas, like in real life, you just end a relationship and start a new one, and like
Uh,
it's sad and sucks, but it's better than being on national television.
I know, right? Can I? But also, like, I would love to just have like a quick, network produced spring fling. That'd be beautiful.
To be like essentially paid to be on a fucking island and get laid, that is
Yeah,
like why not do it?
why not? Is that what Too Hot to Handle is about too?
Well, plus like a chastity belt. It's like this it's like these hot people from around the world, which I do like it when they're like from all over the world because that's kind of fun. And there's like cultural differences and like people communicate differently, and I enjoy watching that. But there's like essentially an Amazon Alexa. Mine's gonna start talking if I'm not careful. Like a type AI robot thing that's like beep boop, you cannot have sex today, and it's like you lose $5,000 every time you touch each other's genitals. And so like the one person or couple gets the grand prize money at the end, and the prize pool drops every time people physically interact with each other, like more than platonically. And also like you can't masturbate,
Huh?
which I think is so fucked up.
But
I'm sure people secretly somehow, but there are fucking cameras and microphones everywhere.
which is a little like
Like,
I don't know how
let
I feel
someone
about that.
masturbate. If you're putting like 16 people in a house for a summer and you're not letting anyone get off, like, I don't care how they do it, but like, it's just, I don't know, it's not good for you. If you want to masturbate, masturbate.
Right. And also like just the thought of putting hot people without a personality, like total airheads, and being like, it's so hard for me to not have sex. It's like, what?
It's so, yeah. It is like this very weird portrayal of horniness because it is like this hot people in human horniness as opposed to just like, oh yeah, like I work a normal job. I'm, like like a normal person, and I have you know, a sensation of arousal all day while I'm at work, and then I'm gonna go home and like masturbate or fuck someone, and like, it's like a part of humanity, as opposed to being like, I'm so hot and I go to the clubs and I get laid at the clubs, and then I mean that's people's lives too, but it is this very beautified version of sexual arousal, and I find it distant from my own.
It's just
Yeah.
like it's so interesting to see these people like resist the most natural thing for money, but also like come on, how easy is it to just like keep it in your pants for the next several weeks so that you get some money? What?
Yeah, it's especially if you don't know someone. Like, I guess eventually they are there for like weeks and they do get to know each other. But like, at least for me, if I can resist horniness, if I don't like, if I haven't, I'm someone who's very driven by personality attraction. So like, for sex to be like really good to me, I have to at least like the person. I don't have to want to date them, right? But I have to at least think they're like funny and cool. So for me, it's like day one, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my labes out for that guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna like I'd like for him to make me laugh a couple of times and then I'll consider it.
I'm laughing at labes out.
Sun's out, labes out.
I love that term. I'm probably going to use that next time. Oh my God.
I welcome you to use it.
Yeah. I can't believe like all these shows made like headlines and just like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? 2021 was such a weird time for sex.
Oh yeah.
Like 2020 included. Like, just seeing all these things happen and like in the news and in the media. Like, have you seen any like interesting sex news headlines?
Yeah. So I saw this one, and I can't remember when it was again, 2020 and 2021, all a blur. So it might be kind of old at this point, but I saw this one that blew me away. So Tiffany Haddish,
Love her.
comedian, actor, yeah, know and love her. I saw this article. I don't even remember. It was like probably TMZ or something that was trash. That was an interview with her, and she was talking about how her first orgasm involves Nicolas Cage. And so let me clarify. So like she was hooking up with someone in a movie theater, I think like a pretty quiet movie theater, and they ended up fucking. And she's like, through the thralls of climax, and she's like really feeling it, and it's all over her body. And as she opens her eyes, as she like starts to come down from the peak, she just locks eyes with fucking Nicolas Cage on the goddamn movie cinema giant screen. And then later when she like interacted with him, she was like, I have to tell him. And she fucking did. I think Tiffany Haddish literally was like the first to make Hey, I Made Eyes at You on the screen. So like I love that for her, but also Nick Cage.
Of all the actors to get off to, Nick Cage, like, it's got to be one of the National Treasure movies, because that's probably the only movie where I can, like, at least tolerate Nick Cage.
It blows my mind that there's so many roles that he was meant to play and just like ended up not playing them. There's an MCU superhero role that he was meant to play. He was meant to play Superman in one of those. I mean, it just this weird time where people were treating Nick Cage like a sex icon, and then they had to wake up and realize that that's just not the case.
Nicolas Cage as a sex icon?
Just not my, like, Tom Selleck I get. Okay, fine. But Nick Cage? Absolutely not.
Like, I would pay for a Tom Selleck mustache ride.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet he moisturizes that puppy, like.
Oh, I'm sure he has to. It looks pristine as well.
Oh yeah, it's like, that's the national treasure. Tom Selleck's.
It's Tom Selleck's mustache.
Oh my god, is that your favorite 2021 like headline?
Yeah, I think so. I did see this other, like, it was a BuzzFeed article, but it was like sourcing from Reddit, which is a great place for all things sex story, right? And it was just like a handful of things. It was like silliest reasons people had to stop having sex, or like silliest ways sex was interrupted. And so one of them was like the sex playlist gone wrong. Like, I guess the dude had put on a playlist thinking it was like a sexy playlist, and in the middle of fucking Ghostbusters starts playing, which like is not a hot song in my opinion.
Who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters, more like Nutbusters.
That part.
So that one was good, and then there was one that was like, the sound of balls clapping against ass cheeks, blah, 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 accidentally turned on the clapper light. So yeah, I mean, they were going at it that hard, which, I mean, hey, good for them. We all know and love that sound. But I love just like lights coming on in the middle
of sex, just like, oh, now I have to see your face. This is what I was trying to avoid.
I was trying to not to see you, and I have to. I mean, there were a ton. There was one where like they were fucking, and one of the people like reached out and put their arm on the dresser that was next to the bed, like in the thralls of passion, and then like looked down and a rat was like biting their hand. This is probably in New York or someplace gross. No offense to New York, but I mean, come on. I mean, just, yeah. So stuff like that.
New York is gross. It's trash, but you know what? There is charm in the grossness and the trash and the grime and the grease of the big city. Like, there's something about it that makes me want to keep going to it. It's probably the guys, but
that's fair too. I do love living in a big city, because I'm in Chicago. I'll just go ahead and say that, but lots of men, lots of people to look at, which is always fun.
Also, like, hey, shout out to Chicago. Like, I love your bean. I spent a summer in Chicago, and I was at what is it? The really nice boardwalk, and a lot of like shirtless athletes running across it, and like cyclists, and I'm like, I could imagine myself here. You know, it's not as windy as advertised, but like, you know.
There's lots of shirtless people in Chicago, just generally, which I enjoy.
Love it. Also, like, I love like the Chicago drag scene too. Like, beautiful. Love drag queens. Love everything. Just like, it's so great being a queer person, isn't it?
Yes, but I do live a pretty heteronormative life. I feel like I always have to caveat that because I don't want anyone to feel like I'm appropriating their queerness.
But you know what? Having a heteronormative relationship does not make you any less queer, girl. Let's get that.
Thanks. I do need to hear that sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You're an ally. You are a queen. You are a queer person. You are like everything and more. You're like a huge slut like me. Come on.
Yes, I know it's true. Love you. Thank you.
You're amazing. So, which is why I want to play a little game with you. Are you ready?
Love games. Let's do it.
Okay, so this game I invented literally just last week. It's called Fact or Fucked. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So how this game goes is I am going to read you a totally fabricated news headline. Your job is to determine whether I got it from an actual source or I made it up. So it's like, it's a totally fake headline that I wrote because I'm funny and creative.
Of course.
If you think it's based on a true story, you say fact. If you think it's totally bullshit, say fucked.
Amazing. I'm
Cool?
so down. Let's do it.
Cool. Okay. First headline I'm going to read you. COVID-19 pandemic causes dip in orgy participants.
Fact.
Yeah, you're right. That was really easy. So that was based on an article in April of 2021 from the Kinsey Institute. So
Amazing.
what Kinsey Institute did was get a sample of 2,000 participants and did a study on their sex lives. And in that study, they discovered that participants are 68% less likely to cheat.
Oh.
44% feel commitment is more important than ever before.
Yeah.
And 52% of singles now want a committed relationship. This is after like going through the thralls of a pandemic.
That makes sense. I think like it was a weird, lonely time. And it was a weird, lonely time for me. And like I have a partner who I really like to be around. And like being locked down with him was like, oh yeah, I definitely like him and want to spend my life with him. But I can imagine like, especially if you didn't have an active sex partner, like you can only fap so many times.
Very true. Which is also very interesting because there was this whole discussion of like the pandemic putting a strain on relationships. Like if you've been locked down with one person for like a really extended period of time, you think it would lead to divorce. But like Kinsey said, girl, that's actually the other way.
Yeah. Which I like to hear that. That's happy news.
I love that, right? So you get 1 point. Yay.
Yay.
All right, next one. New fossil yields evidence of anal sex in dinosaurs.
I'm going to say fucked, but I want it to be fact.
It's a fact.
What? No way. Wait, tell me more.
I will tell you more. So, an article from salon.com in January of 2021. A bunch of scientists, basically, the story goes, it was a bunch of scientists from the University of Bristol and the University of Massachusetts. Shout out to them, massive, huge tits. They were in a dig site in Argentina. This is where they discovered a cloaca.
Oh.
Okay? So what a cloaca is basically like a little vent, that's meant for like peeing, pooping, laying eggs, and mating. This is interesting because a cloaca is organic material, right? It doesn't preserve as well as how bones usually preserve.
Right.
So like to find like, a cloaca is like very rare and like, oh my God, it's a cool discovery. So normally animals with cloacas, they mate by cloacal kissing. So they rub those vents together. The male animal with the cloaca will basically like vibrate to the female cloaca until sperm is ejaculated, and that's how they reproduce.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The cloaca they found with the dinosaur is shaped differently so that it's not suitable for cloacal kissing. What this cloaca had was like a pair of lips, just like the cloaca on a crocodile. So this means that this cloaca likely housed a penis or a clitoris.
Interesting.
Right?
That's
and also,
so interesting.
Cherry on top, the cloaca had like this bright color that would be like a signal for other mates to be like dating time, like baboons have a bright red butt that they show. So like come and fuck,
Oh my God. I love that. I wanted it to be fact, and there it was.
But you said fucked, so
no point fine. For me.
But like I think it's really cool because like up until this discovery, scientists have only theorized on how dinosaurs would have sex. So this is kind of like leading into like a more distinct and a more like accurate depiction of how we think dinosaurs made it. And I think that's really cool.
I love that. No, that is super cool. What a good find.
Okay, next one. Here we go. This is probably going to be easy because this one made me laugh because I wrote it. British Medical Journal documents first case of vertical penile fracture.
I'm gonna say fact.
Yes, it's fact.
Oh, high pressure game, guys.
Yeah. Okay, this is so funny. Like, you know what? Your hubby probably knows this because he's British. I think all British people know each other, but like, basically, there was this article in July of 2021 where it was a 40-year-old man in the UK. He fractured his penis down the middle instead of through the middle.
I don't know how that happened. How does that happen?
So
What did he do?
the medical professionals that were attending to him, they basically concluded that oh god, I can't even like hold a straight face because the story is funny, but it was an ill-timed thrust on the penis going into his partner's perineum, the taint.
You know what is the thing is we've all been there. We've all felt that moment, and it could have been any of us. So cautionary tale. When you flip, it could be the end.
It's a very cautionary tale because, like, oh my god, like the poor aim, like
No,
there's
terrible.
oh
That
my
sucks.
goodness.
Sometimes, I mean, sometimes like I don't know, especially like having a pussy, like the number of times it's been accidental anal because they just be slipping around. And it's like, come on now, aim for the hole that we, I mean, I like anal, don't get me wrong, but it's like if I haven't prepped for anal, like just stick to my pussy, but dick just be flying everywhere.
Which is why that dick just all of a sudden hit the taint.
It's dangerous. That's very scary, actually. I mean, funny, like hilarious as fuck, but also wow.
I mean, that guy is going to be okay. He's going to be fine. But like the medical professionals were just like really interested that this was like a very rare case of the fracture going down the middle rather than through the middle.
Yeah.
So it's like,
wow.
I mean,
yeah.
This guy made history. God bless him and his parts. So
yeah, no, that's fair.
Oh god. Okay, next one. New evolutionary evidence suggests dental structures in vaginas.
Fucked.
Good one. Yeah.
I was about to be like, I'm really behind if that's happening.
Can you imagine if that was a real, like, I was ready to like give you some clues to make it sound realistic. Like, I totally made up some quote unquote facts to make it sound a little like real. But no, like, can you imagine if like vaginas had teeth?
I mean, I don't want to say that's a dream, but it is kind of like, I don't know, like if you could have like safety doors in that thing, it's like that. I think there's a movie called Teeth that I haven't seen it, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like if somebody's down there, you don't want to be, just chomp it right off. Like kind of nice, but also like, yeah, I mean, hypothetically scary.
I would love if I had a vagina and it had teeth, and if this guy just was not like doing it for me, it just chomps down and be like, you don't deserve this penis.
Yeah. And then if you like gained control over your vagina teeth, then you could like use them in like kinky nibbly pussy sex, like kind of like tastefully.
Very agree. But also like I feel like you'd have to floss and brush it there, and that's just like
that's
more
high maintenance.
More dentist appointments, and like dental is not covered by my work insurance. I can't. Okay, last headline. So far I think you have what, 3 points or something? Because you could no, 4. You have 4 points. No, 3.
Three.
You lost one. Yeah.
I lost one, yeah.
Okay. So fifth, and then if you get this right, you win, I don't know, a free masturbation session with yourself.
Oh my god, yay, my favorite. Can't wait.
Okay. Last one. Local village loses sleep due to 4-day orgy.
Fact.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay! Where? Which village?
So, this was an article in the Mirror in July 2021. This coincidentally is also in the UK.
Oh, it's the Brits at it again.
As the Brits at it again, they're truly doing the most out here. Y'all wild.
It's true.
So basically, there was this swing-a-thon. Yeah, so it's exactly what it sounds like. Swing-a-thon was this big swingers event in a small village called Osby in the United Kingdom, which is like I don't know, 100 miles north of London. And like it was at a field, right? It was like an empty field in a village, middle of nowhere.
That is like most of England, so that makes sense.
Very that, right? There were like no washrooms and like little to no showers. So it's like kind of filthy.
Yeah.
Some of the events at Swing-a-thon were wet t-shirt contests. There was a mobile dungeon. There were live fetish demonstrations.
Wow.
Pigeon shooting. I don't know what's that doing at Swing-a-thon.
And people.
Yeah, and bouncy houses.
First of all, find me in the bouncy house. That's where I'll be all weekend.
Truly.
Got stoned and lost myself in the bouncy house got stoned and lost myself in the bouncy house for 3 days. That's so funny though. I feel like I don't know. I mean, I say this to my partner all the time, so I feel like I can say this in general, but I just feel like British people got left alone on an island for too long. You know what I mean? Like, we left them alone for too long, and now they're up to weird shit. They just won't stop. They won't stop colonizing and doing weird shit.
Oh my god! Like, I feel like your hubby would totally like confirm all of these like British stereotypes that we have of the English.
Yeah. No, it's a rare day when he disproves the stereotype. To be honest,
right?
But at least he owns it.
Yeah. So basically, the villagers were like filing noise complaints with police authorities that like there's like loud music, and most noise complaints were the moaning.
Yeah.
That loud.
Yeah. I'm guessing like it must have been like a substantial crowd as well. If you're going to have like a swingers event, people are probably coming in pairs at least. So it's probably like a couple hundred people.
Yeah. Like 4 days, over the span of 4 days, just swinging.
That's a long time to be fucking. I mean, good for them. Like, God bless, honestly. But yes, sweaty, loud, and nasty.
I love that, but also I do need a shower after like day 2 of not showering. Also, like, give me some Gatorade if you need me to keep fucking for a span of 4 days. Holy hell, come on.
Totally. And I like showers make me feel sexy. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I relish in the like natural everything my body produces, but also like sometimes
basic
like
hygiene.
Yeah, like I want my booty hole to be ready as well. You know what I mean?
That. Yeah. Like literally a shower and a douche is a gay man's best friend. Or like literally anyone that's participating in anal. Like we need showers, we need soap, we need water, we need fiber.
Yeah. And I want to like brush my teeth and like brush my hair and be cute for the fuckery. I can be like messy cute, but I want to at least have a little bit of like, I'm going into this feeling ready to go.
Right? Like it's 2022, people. Let's get our shit together.
Yeah. Exactly. I am working on that, but exactly.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of bouncy houses, have you ever been to New York Museum of Sex?
I haven't been to New York in a hot minute, which is a shame because it's really not that far from me. I mean, a flight away, but is it? I'm assuming you've been.
I have. So the reason I bring it up is because in the Museum of Sex, you walk through this entire museum, and it's a beautiful museum. Like they have antique vibrators. They have like the history of erotica and porn. And somewhere along the museum, you pay like $2 or something for a 2-minute jump inside the titty bouncy house.
I want to go to there. Okay, well, it's on my bucket list now.
Yeah,
I'll make it happen.
Museum of Sex, and I believe it's in Manhattan. It's beautiful because it's like really fun music while you're bouncing around, and like just really huge inflatable titties all over.
I love it. That's so good. I'm gonna take so many weird selfies in there.
I mean, you know what? It's 2022. It's a new year. Like, why not?
Yeah, travel is happening these days. Hopefully.
Now that things are opening up, like hopefully we can live our best sexual life and like travel and see all these beautiful people and like this was it was just fun to look back at 2021 and just like all the craziness that came with it. Have you learned anything about your sexual self in 2021?
Definitely. I think, especially, and I'm sure you feel this way too, at least to an extent, but especially having the like creative outlet of a podcast and talking to people regularly about their own sexual experiences, I think that's helped me like continue to process my own sexual wellness journey and like explore new things and like get more and more comfortable communicating about things with my own partner. So I feel like it's been a very like wholesome journey, despite the fact that some of the things I've done in bed have been less than wholesome. Um, but
Ew.
I know you. But yeah, no, like I think like I'm getting more and more comfortable being like, yeah, I love to fuck and saying it out loud. And that's I think more than a lot of people are comfortable saying. So like to me, that's the wholesome takeaway from the last year.
Oh, that's good because like it's hard same. Like I've learned that I am not so much of a numbers guy anymore. I am a
Mm,
very much a quality guy. Like people have been like to the people that knew me before, they would know me as like the guy that would always have sex with as many men as possible. And
mm,
that's the title that they gave me, like the big hole, the big slut,
right.
Tim the walking horror, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the title they gave me only because of like the reputation I had in the city. But now I'm just like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like they're surprised at the fact that my quote unquote score is a lot lower because
Mm,
I've just set a higher standard for myself in terms of the sex that I want,
yeah.
like I don't care so much about the number of guys I have sex with. I care more about like the quality of sex with the guys I'm with.
Yeah. That's so important too. And also like that comes, I think, with time for everyone. And like there's something fun about being aware of numbers, but I agree, like quality is more important. And I love the thought of you having great high quality sex because you deserve it. We all do.
We all do after this entire like pandemic. Like everybody
Mhm.
needs a good quality nut, a conscious
Yes.
nut, a very conscious nut.
A conscious nut. Exactly.
Um, like just to wrap this up, because
Yeah.
like this conversation has been so beautiful, and like spending the new year with you has been so lovely and wonderful.
Yes.
What do you hope to bring to 2022? Like, do you want to explore something new sexually? Do you have like a sexual resolution?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know if I've thought about it. I think a couple of things that I've been wanting to try. And if anyone wants to slide into my DMs for tips on these, I welcome it. But I haven't explored Tantra very much. And that's something that I really want to explore, like slowing it down. I think like it's easy for me to be like high energy, high speed, high vibration, like rail me and, like really go at it. But sometimes it's like, wow, I should really like slow it down and navigate some of the like more intimate and potentially spiritual aspects of sex. So that's something that I'm looking forward to trying. And I think just like continuing um to like just yeah, own what I like. You know what I mean? I used to be scared of saying I like butt stuff and like I'm here to say I love butt stuff and like just getting more and more comfortable.
I love that, and I feel like people listening to this should take away the same message. Like,
Mhm.
don't be afraid to like take some baby steps to expand your sexual horizons.
Yeah.
Try out that new fantasy, that like role play scene that you saw in a porn, and
Yeah.
like go slow, and like also lube is your best friend. I have never
Yes, go.
seen any sexual encounter that has been like downgraded because of lube. Lube
Mhm.
will always be there for you.
Lube,
Like,
yeah. It really
mm,
it really does help a lot of scenarios, even the ones you don't expect it to help with.
right? Like my favorite lube is like silicone based lube because you can use it to fuck in the shower, and I'm just like,
Mm. Hell yeah.
oh
Love a good shower sex.
yeah, right. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Like I hope for me in 2022, I get more sex toys. Truly.
Ah, I love sex toys. This is a whole other conversation we can have one day, but I do it. Get a collection. It's so worth it.
Oh hell yeah! Like I want a collection of different vibrators and different like wands and shit.
It's so
Damn.
much fun. Like, yeah, it's crazy what they make these days, toy wise. It's phenomenal. I love sex tech. I want it all.
I know, right? Like if y'all are listening to this and you were like, I didn't get the toy I want, buy yourself the toy that you want.
Mhm.
Like, damn, like
Yeah.
Santa really skimped out this year.
Yeah. If Santa didn't get you right, do yourself right.
Yes. Ooh, put that on a shirt. Put that on a shirt. Oh my God. You've been so lovely and I can't get enough of you. Pretty sure the listeners can't get enough of you. Where can people listen to your show and where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, so follow me on Instagram at Sexistentialist Pod. Sexistentialist is on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on wherever you want to listen to it, really. So give me a search, give me a listen. Who knows what crazy shit I'm talking about this week. And I'll say too, Tim, you're a fucking blast. So glad we connected. And I'm sure we'll make weird shit together again. So.
Oh, hell yeah. And like, what's your Instagram handle where people can
At
see?
Sexistentialist Pod.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Em, for joining me in this lovely, lovely New Year episode, kicking off season 2.
Yeah.
I hope you have a wonderful 2022. We're going to keep in touch. We're going to keep each other sexually updated.
Yes, we are. I love it. I can't wait to hear more from you.
Yes, I can't wait to hear more from you too. And to all the listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Sex Ed with Tim. I will see you at the next one. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Sex Ed with Tim podcast. Sex Ed with Tim is created and produced by me, Tim Lagman. Music is Aces High by Kevin MacLeod. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GaySlutClown and at Sex Ed with Tim. You can also like and follow me on the Sex Ed with Tim Facebook page. If you enjoyed the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Even better, you can also support the show on Patreon, where you can get early access to ad-free episodes and more. Thanks for all your support, you dirty little slut. Mwah!